Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Help me. You're my only hope. Oh, hey. Hi, everybody. Julianne Lichty Stratton here. Just practicing my Princess Leia lines for May the fourth be with you. Notice my hair. I even have the buns and everything. Very exciting. Welcome to Actors in Actioners, Actors in Action. Facebook Live, acting from all angles. I'm super excited tonight. Today, we're going to be talking about Star Wars, okay? And how it changed everything. And if you just missed my little whole hood thing, and I got my Princess Leia cinnamon rolls on my head and everything, just like to keep it fun. So we're going to talk about Star Wars and how it really affected and changed our industry. But first, let me introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. My name is Julianne Lichty Stratton. I'm the creator of Actors in Action, professional acting training, where we are devoted to helping the actor develop their own fail-proof process so they can go into any audition or booking or callback and just feel fantastic. So that's what we're all about. Okay, so we're going to talk about Star Wars. I have really cool things to talk about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I am one of those people that saw Star Wars happen. So if you're too young for that, I am so sorry, because it was really, really incredible. There's the story. I was in third grade. I was away at my cousin's for a few weeks, and I got back, and I have all these brothers, and my brothers were trying to tell me about this new movie they had seen. They're like, it's so amazing. There's a Death Star, and there's this big, like, moon thing, and they've got these jet fighters, and there's Princess Leia, and they're doing all these things. They've got lightsabers, and I remember them telling me about it before I even saw it, and I was just like, wow, this is so incredible. How excited they were, how amazing everything seemed like it would be when I went to see it. Of course, I couldn't imagine what it would actually be like, because you have to remember, back then, we had Star Trek, we had cheesy, special effects, that we had spaceships floating along on a wire or whatever. We didn't have what you have today. And so that's the thing. So I went and saw Star Wars and was blown away. None of us had ever seen anything like that before in our entire lives. It was really incredible. So for those of us now that go to movies and we're like, oh yeah, it was good. I think the action, the CGI and everything, that was really cool. That was amazing. We didn't have that before. So it was an amazing experience. And the thing is like I'm saying, is now people go to movies, and like I just went to Infinity Wars with my husband the other day, last Friday, and it was amazing. Marvel Comics, all the stuff they do, it's so much green screen, it's so much CGI, it's so like huge and big. The music is incredible, the sound design is incredible, everything is great, the acting's always good, for these big pictures as well. But we just didn't have that before. So I want to really talk about how Star Wars affected the industry and how that relates to us as actors. All right. So one thing it did is, well, first of all, I didn't know this. Well, and I wasn't aware of this, but it really started having films market paraphernalia that went along, merchandise. So I bought a Princess Leia doll. I remember that. I wanted it really badly. I got it for my birthday or something like that. And I quickly trashed it like I did all my Barbie dolls. But that didn't ever happen before. And I was actually doing some research for this, and I was reading that online, that nowadays Hollywood's bread and butter is selling merchandise, is selling. You go to Toys R Us, you go to Walmart, you go to Target, you see all these toys from movies. It's very much about making money off the toys and the paraphernalia that comes from movies, which is fine. That's actually something that helps to support Hollywood, and that's great. And that really doesn't have a lot to do with us as actors, except for if you get in a really, really big film, make sure you get in a little bit on the merch, and you're going to make so much money from it, especially if it's like a doll of you. So why not? So so that's one thing. Another thing that it really changed, obviously, were special effects. And how does that relate to us as actors? I think it relates a lot, actually. If you watch Lord of the Rings, and if you watch the the background stuff. They have like on their discs, they have tons of things you can watch about how it was made, which I love that stuff. A lot of it was done blue screen, green screen. A lot of it, the actors are just there and there's nothing around them, and they have to portray it. They have to still be in the moment. They have to still pretend like snow is falling on them, or they're walking through gardens and or skylight, or they're driving you to fly in a spaceship or whatever it is. And that to me strikes more of the feeling of theater. So those of you who have done theater versus film, when you're in theater, you have to create this world that is there. You certainly have to create it in film too, but it's not as realistic on stage usually. And so learning how to do that and being able to when you're on a green screen, to imagine, to know where your eye line is, to see things. We need to see it in the actor's eyes. We need to be looking at stuff and you see that they really see this beautiful, amazing place that they're at, which actually doesn't really exist because they're going to fill it in later. So that's really important to learn how to do that, to allow yourself to be there. One thing that I feel like has actually not helped with all this CGI stuff and like that, all that stuff, is it seems that it goes into a lot of storytelling issues. We kind of rely on this roller coaster. We kind of rely on the big, huge, amazing pyrotechnics of CGI and all that kind of stuff. And it can erode the storytelling. When you put great storytelling with great special effects, of course, you're going to get amazing, amazing stuff. So I think we need to be careful as actors to learn to really allow ourselves to be present with our acting and to select the films that have strong stories. Even though they may have a huge budget, they may have a lot of different things that seem really flashy and attractive, we need to, as professionals, work towards making sure the story is really great, because ultimately it is about the story. It's if the story is moving, it's if the story has depth to it, or humor, or we can relate to it. So it's very fun to be celebrating Star Wars. I think it was quite a few decades ago that this all came out. And for those of you who didn't experience this phenomenon that happened, I'm really sorry. I don't think you'll ever really understand how things changed with Star Wars for the world, and this impact that it had on us, this creativity, this ingenuity that George Lucas came up with. I was also reading that he was like, I want to do all this crazy stuff, and for this film, but I don't know how to do it. So he built a company and they started working on it, and they came up with amazing techniques. And did you know it was before they had any computer animated things? So when you watch Star Wars, how they did the stars in the background, do you know how they did that? They took a really thick piece of black velvet and they poked holes through it. I remember this from the documentary, watching a documentary as a kid about this. They poked holes through it and they put lights behind it, and those were the stars. So some of the holes are bigger, some of them are smaller, so the stars seem bigger or fainter or more distant. And then they took models of these really intricate models of Starship Cruisers or the Millennium Falcon or whatever, and they just had to move across there, and they would do different camera angles. So it was really, really amazing. So, next time you watch one of the original Star Wars, I just hope that you can really see and remember, this is not CGI. This is amazing practical stuff. Everything that was done, all the effects were done with practical tricks and things like that. So that's my little shout out to Star Wars, and to really think about when we are acting in front of a green screen, and how it's so important to be able to be connected to our acting process, and to be able to really bring it, especially when we're on a big set and we're acting on a green screen and nothing is there. So that's something for us to really work on and get that going. And it all comes from acting. It all comes from how well you are invested in your acting career and how well you are invested in your process. So, all right, that's it for today. No big announcements right now. We started AIA this week. It's been going really well, really excited about it. We're gearing up for our showcase, which is going to be in August 17th and 18th at the Eccles Black Box Theater. So save that date. We will see you then. And if anybody has any memories or cool things to say about Star Wars, if you were also part of the club of seeing Star Wars when it first came out in the movie theater, post below. Let's talk about it. It's a really great thing. It was amazing to be able to be witness to the birth of this whole new era of filmmaking. All right, that's it for Actors in Action today for Acting from All Angles. Have a great weekend. I will see you next week. Please give comments. Please let me know what you want to have your questions answered about, and keep doing your acting. We'll talk to you soon.